If you're anything like me, then right now you are probably feeling a little bit worried and maybe a lot confused. Almost overnight, our worlds have been turned upside down, and what we used to think of as normal has been replaced with a new kind of normal. The word coronavirus is now part of our everyday language, yet there is still so much we don't know about it and COVID-19, the illness that it causes. And for me, it is this not knowing stuff that makes me feel most frightened. So I decided to do what I love, and that is to be curious, research, and seek to understand. I wanted to know what a virus actually is, where they come from, how they spread, and what we can really do to stop them in their tracks. This video is me sharing some of the stuff I've learnt along the way. I'm not a scientist or a medical expert, so my aim is simply to share what I've learned in my exploration. There is loads of great information on the internet about viruses and other really interesting stuff, so if you are feeling more curious after you've watched this, get searching and see what else you can find. But remember, not everything you read is necessarily true. Look for the websites that you know you can trust, and find people who are able to explain the complicated stuff in really simple, easy to understand ways. So, the first thing I learnt about viruses is that they are absolutely tiny. They are so tiny, in fact, that it is impossible to see them under any normal microscope, and scientists need really special electron microscopes to look at them. Viruses are between 20 and 300 nanometers in size and are 1,000 times smaller than bacteria. There are 10 million nanometers in a centimetre, so you can imagine how tiny one virus must be. Think about a pin that you would use in sewing. You can actually fit millions of viruses onto the head of that pin. There are also lots of different types of viruses. All of them have something called a genome in the middle, which is made of either DNA or RNA, types of nucleic acid. This genome is surrounded by a coat of protein called a capsid, and then some viruses have an outer layer around them called an envelope, whilst others don't, and they are known as naked viruses. Viruses also come in different shapes. Some are rod-shaped and have their insides arranged in a helix, whilst others are polyhedral, which is a three-dimensional polygon. The polyhedral shape here is just one example, so you could look up what is a polyhedron on the internet if you want to see more. Some viruses are even more complicated and look like the lunar landing module. The coronavirus is actually more like a football that has lots of tiny spikes sticking out of the surface. These little spikes mean that the virus can stick to other cells, a bit like Velcro or a stickle brick, and help the virus do their work infecting people with an illness. Viruses are actually quite strange things in that they are technically not living because they don't contain all the chemical stuff that they need to do the same things that living organisms can do, like breathe or grow or reproduce. On their own, they just sort of exist until they find what is called a host body where they can activate and begin to do their work. Each type of virus attacks certain hosts. Some might need animals or birds or humans, whilst others need plants. Viruses are also specific in the type of cells they attack in their host body. The coronavirus attacks respiratory cells, cells in our lungs and windpipe and other parts of the respiratory system, which is why being infected with this virus can cause a cough and breathing problems. As soon as a virus enters our body, maybe through our nose or mouth, and locks onto the specific cells, it comes alive and starts to make lots and lots of copies of itself using extra protein that it gets from our body. This is called reproduction. The process of infection and reproduction is quite complicated, so I have decided to imagine the coronavirus as a tiny, invisible army of millions of soldiers searching out their enemy without being seen. The coronavirus is quite sneaky and often hitches a ride on other surfaces until it is able to get close enough to a person to invade. If someone we meet has already got the virus and sneezes or coughs, the virus uses this as an easy way to jump across to its next victim. The coronavirus is really infectious too, and one person with the virus can spread it to 3 other people if they are within 2 meters of them. A normal flu virus usually only spreads to one other person, so this is why coronavirus is spreading much more quickly than normal winter flu. Once they are near enough, the coronavirus army finds it really easy to slide down from our nose or mouths to their target cells in our windpipe and lungs. They then use their spiky bits to attach to one of our cells and catch the protein they need to multiply and produce more and more virus cells. As the coronavirus begins to do its work, we start to feel ill, with a cough or a sore throat. This means that the virus has succeeded in its mission and has infected us. The coronavirus causes an illness that has been called COVID-19. Our bodies are amazing things though, and immediately they start to fight back against the invasion of this mini army of viruses. Our immune system sees that certain cells have been invaded and sends its own army in to try and fight off the nasty coronavirus. Often the symptoms we have are caused by our own body's response to the virus attack. Maybe we feel hot, have a temperature, or have really achy bones and feel tired. Whilst there isn't a direct cure for COVID-19, the illness caused by the coronavirus, if you are usually fit and healthy, your body is able to fight off any virus invasion quite easily. You might be ill for a few days whilst your immune system works to kill off the nasty virus that has invaded your cells, but you usually get better with rest and time. Sadly, not everyone is able to fight off the virus so easily. People who are older or who are already ill with another disease don't have enough of an inner army in their immune system to fight back against a new virus infection. This means that the virus wins their battle and makes them feel really poorly. Sometimes it makes them so poorly that they need to go to hospital for life-saving treatment. And very sadly, sometimes that treatment doesn't work and those people die. Right now, the coronavirus army is doing everything it can to invade our bodies and take over all of our immune systems, which means that lots and lots of us will get ill with COVID-19 if we keep doing the normal things we do every day. Like seeing our family, going to school, going to work, going shopping or to parties, or meeting up with all of our friends. The more people we meet, the easier we are making it for the coronavirus to spread and continue its attack on our cells. That is why the best way to fight this virus is to stop doing all the things we normally do. Keep away from other people as much as possible by staying at home. This will also help us protect people who are more vulnerable to the coronavirus invasion. It will also help us protect our hospitals and doctors and nurses, because if too many of us get ill at one time, they won't have enough beds or oxygen or time to help us all get better. To stop the coronavirus spreading, there are some really simple things that we can do. We can wash our hands regularly with soap and water for at least 20 seconds at a time. We can catch our coughs and sneezes in disposable tissues and then throw them away. And we can avoid touching our faces, our eyes, nose and mouth with unwashed hands. And perhaps the most important thing we can do right now is to stay at home and keep away from other people. If we have to go outside, maybe to walk our dog, get exercise or go food shopping, then we need to remember to keep at least 2 meters away from anyone we meet. Remember, the coronavirus can't travel on its own, so it needs us to transport it to the next person. If we stay away from other people, then the virus won't be able to move and keep infecting others. This is especially important for older people or people who already have an illness or disease that makes them more likely to become really ill if they catch the virus. You might be able to recover from the COVID-19 illness, but they may not. If we do all these things, it doesn't mean that we get rid of the coronavirus completely, but we do reduce the numbers of people who are getting ill at the same time. This means that our hospitals and our amazing doctors and nurses will be able to look after the people who need their help, and fewer people will die. The simple message is that staying at home will save lives. There is so much more you can learn about viruses, and I found it really interesting to just try and understand some of the basic things. By learning more about how a virus works, I feel a little bit less scared, and now start to understand why it's so important for me to stay at home and away from my friends and family. I hope that this video has helped you too.